Ron.
Here.
Why didn't you say it the first time I said Ron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron.
You done messed up, Ron.
Aaron is right here, everyone. And I'll tell you who done messed up. David Miscavige done messed up. I wonder what David Miscavige did to pull this in. I mean, Lord Xenu has a real nasty sense of humor, and he must be in a bad mood. You know, Xenu, he sure can create an awful lot of trouble from his secret electronic prison somewhere up and over in the Himalaya mountains. I don't know. That's where L. Ron Hubbard said Xenu's currently being imprisoned with some sort of eternal energy source powering his electronic prison. But I'll tell you what, he has those super advanced OT-15 powers, that Lord Xenu. And when David Miscavige does something to pull in something big, Xenu just, throws these natural disasters at Scientology's bases. It's really wild. Let me show you what I'm talking about here, guys. Okay, so California is going to get hit by Hurricane Hilary. Now, it looks like it has been downgraded now to a tropical storm. But that doesn't mean David Miscavige is still pulling in a tropical storm. So this is the LA Times. This is updated. This article was updated just a couple hours ago. Let me show you what they are showing is the predicted path of this tropical storm. And I couldn't believe it when it was called to my attention that this thing is projected to directly hit Scientology's secret international management base, the home of Golden Era Productions. Now, when you hear people talk about this base, you'll hear them referred to Riverside County. You'll hear them sometimes referred to San Bernardino. Well, I guess San Bernardino is mostly the CST base. But let's zoom in. You'll hear people refer to Hemet. Let's zoom in here. Wow. Okay, so we're getting close. So this is, I'm going to use this as a reference point. This little, it looks like a lake here, but when you pull it up on a map, it doesn't quite look like a lake. Look what is right here, just 4 miles to the east of the eye of this thing, the Gold Base. This is it, guys. On a map, it's called Gold Base. To the public, Scientology pretends that the only thing that's located at this base is Golden Era Productions, which is Scientology's in-house movie studio. What they don't want the world to know is that this is actually the location of Scientology's international management headquarters. Or at least it was before David Miscavige abandoned the thing. Now this is not a great image because it's not, satellite image. So let's jump over to this. Do you see this thing up here in the top left corner, Mystic Lake? I guess not so much of a lake all year round, but that lake there is the same as, zooming out. Yeah, this lake right here. Okay. So we've got Mystic Lake over there. Bada boom. We got the Gold Base. Now, some of you guys have been paying attention to a lot of the Scientology stories for a long time, have heard the story of a massive mudslide that hit. I'm going to zoom in on these units right here. These 5 units right here, if I recall correctly, are called the G units or the Gs. I don't know why they're called that. I forget. I've probably been told several times. I can never remember. And these had this was in the late 90s, I believe. Again, I'm always a little fuzzy with years. But this is when Mark Headley was still at the base, Claire Headley was still at the base, Janice Gillum Grady was still at the base. A lot of the people that you hear from currently on SPTV were still at the international base at this time. Hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. I mean, I guess it depends on how much of the labor was free Sea Org labor and how much of the labor was, actual professionals. Were spent completely renovating these things because Tom Cruise was coming to the base, and these were for Tom Cruise and company. Gosh, diggity darn it. Okay. And what happened was, you can see, oh, Lord almighty, Xenu's at it again. Look at what is right across the street from these G units. A giant, nothing but tons of square feet of mountain surface area pointed directly downwards towards the earth and directly towards those G units. And I do not recall whether it was a single strong storm or just many, many days of heavy rainfall that precipitated a mudslide all the way down here and just completely washed out these units that were there for Tom Cruise. And I mean, this is honestly the only reason I'm even doing a video about a storm heading for the base, because the truth is the strength of this storm does not pose a direct threat to the Int base. I mean, if it's already a tropical storm now, I mean, I live in Florida. We get hit by tropical storms all the time. It's nothing. And the base is a pretty well fortified, very strong area. The risk to the base is from all of these mountains that have nowhere to wash out except directly into the Int base. It's incredible. It's a weird place to put a base. I mean, I guess they could never be. It would be hard to raid the base from the northeast, but boy, I don't know how they handle drainage around there. And one of the things that happened, a lot of people have told stories of the fallout of what David Miscavige did, what happened in the aftermath of this thing. And you'll hear a lot of people talking about this Scientology concept of pulling something in. That's why I made the joke in the beginning. What did David Miscavige do to pull in this storm heading right for the base? One of the fundamental Scientology principles is that we are all immortal spiritual beings called thetans. And that when you think of what is a thetan, or what do Scientologists believe the native power of a thetan is, the only thing that you can compare it to is a supreme being or a god. And this is why Scientologists don't believe in a god or a supreme being, a single supreme being, a supreme mover, a prime mover unmoved, is because Scientologists believe that we as thetans individually are each and every one of us exactly and precisely that. We all have limitless power, and that we've sort of, through various explanations that L. Ron Hubbard came up with, have arrived at a state where we're very low power. We don't remember our previous lives. Most of us think we're bodies. We're stuck in these bodies. These bodies are traps. These bodies are prisons. We cannot willingly leave our body at will with full perception and all this shit. And Scientology convinces its members that Scientology can bring you back to that native state. That belief that we are all fundamentally all powerful has as a part of it the fact that anything that happens to us is something that we on some level caused to happen to us. Even if now you go, wait a second, if you have a person A and person B and you're all both supremely powerful and person A does something to person B, how can person B be completely responsible for what person A did if person A is also supposed to be completely responsible for everything? Well, that's sort of the mind fuck of Scientology. We're all responsible for everything. So if I do something to you, I'm responsible for that, but you're also responsible for it in some way. And you will never spiritually or psychically recover from the harm of what I did to you until you fully come to terms and accept what role you played in making me do that to you. And so because of this, why am I explaining all this? Because Miscavige basically said that the staff at the international base were to blame for the fact that this mudslide wiped out all of this new construction and new renovation. It wasn't just an act of nature, an act of God. It wasn't like, oh, geez, sometimes shit happens. Let's get on with the show. No, he went nuclear. He went nuclear on everyone. The entire base was assigned lower conditions. That's one of Scientology's sort of justice tools, ethics and justice tools. And I have heard some people say that this incident at the base was actually a turning point for Miscavige, his behavior. Something broke inside Miscavige at that time that never fixed. I've heard stories of a few different points in I wanted to say Scientology's history or David Miscavige's history, where something markedly changed inside of him for the worse that he never fully recovered from. And by many accounts, this incident at the base of the mudslide wiping out the G units was one of those things. And yet here we are where it looks like we could possibly be in the exact same scenario of if a major rainstorm, whether it's tropical storm, hurricane, category 1 hurricane or whatever, goes that close to, I did the map. It's about a 4-minute drive from the base to the projected path of where the eye of the storm is supposed to pass the base. So I think it was about maybe 5 miles. The base could suffer some serious damage. Now, also, it's probably just a good time to note that by all accounts, particularly from Mitch Brisker, who's someone that left the int base, the Scientology, about a couple years ago, Miscavige hasn't even been to the int base in what seems like close to, I want to say 10 years, but I feel like I might be overstating it a bit. David Miscavige does not work from the int base anymore. That's not his primary location anymore, even though he built himself a $50 million office building on the base just for his personal use. Miscavige now works primarily out of Scientology Media Productions in Hollywood, California, not just a few minutes away from L. Ron Hubbard Way, which is like Sunset Point in Vermont, I think is one of the nearest major intersections there. So Miscavige is, it's not like Miscavige is going to get washed away in the middle of the night, unfortunately. Miscavige is safe in Hollywood, but the int base is at risk. And I just have to ask, what did David Miscavige do to pull this in? Someone better throw David Miscavige on the meter and find his crimes. What has he done? What has David Miscavige done to pull in all the bad press for Scientology? What has he done to pull in this lawsuit from Leah Remini? What has he done to pull in this lawsuit from Danny Masterson's victims? What has he done to pull in the lawsuit from the former Sea Org members in Australia? By golly, find this guy's crimes, put him on the meter, and declare him he's running Scientology into the ground. I mean, at this rate, Lord Xenu is going to break out of his prison and take over the entire show. I mean, come on, guys. This is crazy. Oh, Lord. All right. Just having a little bit of fun with a tropical storm here. Let me check out the super chats and we'll wrap this up. Stephen, evening, Aaron. Good evening, Stephen. It's not quite evening, but good evening. Maybe you're in Europe. Who knows? Oh, I see you're in the UK. All right. Good evening, Stephen. Joni Cummings. It sucks for California that there's going to be a hurricane. It's hilarious that David Miscavige and Scientology are getting hit. Yeah, by all accounts, this thing is already losing strength. It's probably not even going to be a big deal. But the fact that a whole lot of rain is heading directly for that base, it could be a big deal for the base, even if it's not a big deal for everyone else. I mean, just look at those mountains. I mean, those mountains are like right. The base is stuck right there in the base of all those mountains. It's absolutely crazy. Tampa, Barbara Mangano. Would they ever evacuate the base or lock it up tighter? I'm not the best one to offer an opinion on this, but my opinion would be that they would not evacuate it, that they would stay there to try and protect it against damage as much as possible. Because where would they evacuate to? My guess is they would not evacuate. Thank you for the question, Barbara. Clearwater Chad. Hello, Clearwater Chad. Jen Hack. SPs have limitless power. It's true. SPs, by all accounts, are the only ones who have actual OT powers. Scientologists are the ones who are supposed to get OT powers by going up the bridge, but Scientologists seem to shrink and decay and just practically die at the mere in the mere presence of a high level 15 SP. Like myself, for example, I've awarded myself SP level 15. If an SP walks into a store, the Scientologists go running for the doors. I mean, as if we have the full power of Xenu. It really is incredible. Ermeltrude, live. Hi from Germany again. Hello from Germany. I love Germany. Did you know Germany? L. Ron Hubbard declared Germany is the only completely suppressive country on earth. Did you know that? And that's for their, or maybe it was David Miscavige. I think it was David Miscavige who said that, not L. Ron Hubbard. That's right. Yeah, apparently at the int base, you could even get in trouble from Miscavige for having a German-made car because Germany is such a suppressive country. Just wild. Mickey Goldmill. Aaron, put the damn hat on. Mickey, love the hat. Oh, are you talking about the captain's hat? Captain of the AA team. Yes, I'll put the hat on just for the rest of the video. Thank you for the super chat, Mickey. Some Ting Wong, boom ding ow, we too low. I get the joke. If you know, you know. Does this mean OT8s are going to be flown to California so they can physically change the course of the storm? Does the church foot the travel expenses? This brings up an excellent question. Some of you may know that every time a storm threatens the safety of Scientology's base in Clearwater, known as FLAG. They ask all of the OT7s and 8s to, well, I guess OT7s, because OT8s can't go in session. They ask all the OT7s to, as a group and simultaneously, go in session and do their little solo auditing sessions. And in these sessions, they're telepathically counseling the alien spirits that are stuck to them, called body thetans. But somehow Scientologists are told that these OT7s who are doing these auditing sessions and telepathically auditing these body thetans somehow have the power to control the weather and to control the direction of storms. Now, I think, I don't even know how a Scientologist would actually rationalize this to themselves. I think it's because, thetans, and I guess by extension, body thetans, are considered to be completely at cause over the physical universe. And so I guess the idea is maybe there's some like angry body thetans who are sending the storm towards the base. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Don't think about it too deeply. Any Scientologist should never think about things too deeply, or they might realize that everything they're doing is kind of a load of bullshit. But the reason I'm explaining this, the location of Scientology's international base is a highly guarded secret in Scientology. Sure, you and I can pull it up on Google. We know it's Gilman Hot Springs, California. You can drive by it on the freeway. Scientologists are not allowed to know the location of this base. You might think, come on now, it's 2023. Surely a Scientologist wouldn't get in trouble for looking up the location of the int base. And you, sir, would be absolutely wrong. You get in a lot of trouble for even trying to find out the location of the int base. And if you're found to be spreading that information to other people in Scientology, I mean, you're in deep shit. So they can't even ask the OTs to go in session and try to divert the path of the storm because they can't tell the OTs the location of the base. So they're double screwed. Isn't that incredible? Wow. All right, everyone, just having a little bit of fun here, really. But honestly, I mean, the base could be in jeopardy if a ton of rain hits those mountains. So, hey, any of you guys who happen to be local to, Hemet, San Jacinto area, you guys, I'm sure you guys know where this base is. Shoot me a line if you have any photos, if you can get any shots of the mountains behind there, and if there's some huge water deluge coming down the mountain, send me anything you can. I'd appreciate it. All right, everyone, that is all for now. Thank you for watching. Thanks to everyone who watches until the very end. Let me get my little outro ready, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here.